כן.
יהל ניקים. היא זוכרת שהמצאנו את זה? יהל ניקים?
כן.
The journey of the Yahel Nikim.
Wow.
To help you?
Oh
To
no.
help you?
I got it.
That's not fair.
It was late one night when Satva Annie gathered her 10 youngest grandchildren around the fireplace to read them her favorite book, The Journey of the Yahel Nikim. Come on, Satva, said little Evie. We're waiting for you. One moment, little Evie, putting the second spoon of sugar into your teas. There's little Evie.
Oh, it's Blackie. Cute. Annie, to help you.
Someone help Annie.
Someone help Annie.
Not to the rescue. Okay.
Alright,
Yeah.
okay.
There we go.
As Satva Annie walked into the living room with a tray of 11 cups of tea, she said, "All right, children, are you ready for me to begin?" "Yes," they called in unison. So Satva Annie passed out the tea and sat down in her rocking chair to begin.
Good thing there's a rocking chair.
Yeah.
Whoa, man, no.
You can move a little that way.
Yeah.
It was the end of September 2010 when Annie arrived at 7B Ha'aliyah Street. As she stepped out of her cab, she said goodbye to the driver named Zihon.
Zayn.
Zion.
Sign.
And stared across the street at her new home for the next 5 months, or so she thought. She crossed the street, pulling her wheelie suitcase behind her. She had waited for many months in anticipation for this moment, and after an 11-hour plane ride, she was finally there. She opened the door, peered. This is the house.
Okay.
That's the door.
Peered around the kitchen and saw 4 strangers sitting around the table, awaiting her arrival. Although she knew she would get to know these 4 people very well, she would never have expected this group of people to become her new family in her new home in Gadara. As she said hi to each person who introduced themselves, she realized that there was one person missing, Drew, who she would share a room with for the next 5 months.
Mm-hmm.
That first night in Gadara, she lied awake in bed, repeating to herself, "Whoa, I can't believe I'm really here." The next thing she knew, the light from the morning sun was shining through her window. When she looked at the clock, which read 6 a.m., she said to herself, "It's pretty early, maybe I should go back to sleep." But without hesitation, she jumped out of bed, got dressed, grabbed her camera, and skipped down the stairs to get some breakfast. Later that day, after the group went out for their first shawarma at Baraka, Annie got her own private tour of Gadara since she missed the group tour of Gadara the previous day. Avi, who was driving past their house, stopped by to say hi. As a joke, Annie jumped in the car and said, "Can I have a ride home?" Instead of driving the meter up to the Yahel Nikim house, Avi took her around the town. There's me and Avi. These are all the things we saw.
Expensive
Library,
mini supermarket.
Victory, the expensive mini supermarket, Shapir, Weissman, Beit Knesset, Bilarim, Kaka, just to name a few. Annie would later look back on this first glimpse of Gadara and remember of how foreign everything looked. She would remember how silly she was on that first morning, craving a bowl of cereal and soy milk for breakfast, but being too scared to venture out of the house alone. She would remember being confused as to which building the Hadar Machshavim was in each time they would have a session during orientation. She would remember how she marveled at the walk to Rachel's house that first night for dinner, thinking, "This is the life. I could take this walk every day of my life." She would remember that first Beit Midrash thinking, "This is the life. I could gather here every day and discuss Jewish texts and drink this unbelievable tea.
What did she say? What is she saying in the book?
Oh,
This is the life.
No, I couldn't see the pink. It's not pink, so I couldn't.
She would also remember her first attempts at learning Hebrew, jotting down words such as gum and todah, which would later become part of her everyday vocabulary. And she would remember meeting her new friends and co-workers, Zaki, Shachar, Ziva, Lana, David, and others, but only remembering David's name. What she would have trouble with was putting herself back in that place where Rachel was a stranger, being unsure of who she was or what her role would be in her life, or where Avi was her community liaison and a friendly face. As Satva Annie went to turn the next page, little Dana screamed out, "But Satva, how did it all change?" "Well," Satva Annie said, "we'll find out." On the next page. It was 2 months into her time in Gedera, and sitting around at the Yahel, Rachel said, "I can't believe it's almost halfway finished." Annie, having realized this, was saddened by the thought of leaving her new home. When she first arrived, she dreaded the day when she was going to have to leave, but now there was something more to this sadness. She wasn't just leaving Israel, she was leaving her friends, her family, and her community.
I was making the sad effect noise.
Satva Annie looked at the time, and she realized it was much too late for the little ones to be up. She had become so involved in Annie's story, she didn't realize that she too was much too tired for her old age. As Satva Annie put down the book, the 10 children yelled, "But Satva Annie, what happens next?" "It's too late, my little ones. You'll have to wait until tomorrow night." "But Satva," yelled little Avi, "is this story about you?" And, well,
Okay.
I couldn't write the next pages yet because they weren't written. But it is not the it is not the end, but the beginning.
Beautiful.
Woo! Nice, Annie.
וואו. איזה משקע.
כן,
Very nice.
Lovely.
I hope Alex sees this